changes bar, and you can't make a heel toe mark. You can't keep time from rolling on, and you can't keep a man from going wrong. You can't change daylight to dark, and you can't make a heel toe mark. Time from rolling on, and you can't keep a man from going wrong. You can't change the daylight to dark, and you can't make a heel toe mark. No, you can't make a heel toe the mark. Okay, here's this break to You Can't Make a Heel Toe the Mark. And I played it a little different than Don did on his recording, but this will get you in the right direction. Really the coolest part about this kickoff is the very beginning. This little walk down into a D chord. So we're in the key of G, and we're going to do a turnaround, which a turnaround is when you go straight to a D chord to kick the song off, and then you go back to G. Now the record, they played it in A, and Don had his capo on the second fret. So, but we're in G, so we're going to play it in G. But this little kickoff here is pretty interesting. All right. So what he's doing is we're in G, so we're going to walk right into a D, and the way he does that, it's pretty unusual. I've never heard him do this before or after. I've never heard anybody else do it, but it's pretty cool. So what he does is he's pinching the fourth and first strings. You're holding down the fourth string on the fourth fret. All right, we're just pinching those, fourth and first. Then we're going to pinch the third and first. Then we're going to mash down the first fret on the third string and pinch those on the third and first string. So, and then walk up to your A note actually. So what I'm doing is I'm walking right into this D shape. And that's all pinches on the fourth and first, and then third and first string. So, alright, so now we're in D chord. And then we're going to do this partial D chord that Don does a lot. It's right out of your D shape, but we're leaving the first and second strings open. So just roll forward on the fourth, third, and first. And then we're going to hammer onto the third fret on the second string, roll forward, and then back to the first fret on the second string. I'm pinching that, the first and second string. So go into this little lick here. Alright, and it's important to get this lick right. I've taught this in a bunch of other videos. That is not this lick here. That's completely different than the way Scruggs would do that lick. Scruggs would use the fifth string and use an entirely different roll. Scruggs would do this. That's what I call the doing my time roll, or like a Cripple Creek roll that Earl did. When Earl played Cripple Creek, that's what he would use. Don didn't use that roll. Don used the Dixie breakdown roll, which is third, second, and first, and then back to the second. So he cuts the fifth string completely out of that lick. It's just, all right. So these little things like that make a big difference in how it sounds, and sounding like Don the way he did it. So that's the way he would do that lick. So let me get you up to that point. So then we're going to walk back down to D. We're in a G at that point. So we went to D. Now we're going to G. Now we're going back to D. And what we're going to do, we're going to walk up on the 4th string from the 5th fret to the 7th fret to the 9th fret. And then we're going to get to the 12th fret where your D shape is. So. Once we hit that 12th fret out of your D shape, we're going to start doing this clicking sound that Don does. I did a whole video on the clicking, but basically what it is that you mute the 5th string with the fat of your thumb back here, and you just make it do a clicking sound. I can't make it click as loud as I used to because I wear a glove all the time now. So, but with your skin, it makes a little bit louder clicking. I just have to hit it a little bit harder to make it sound out. But when we walk up there to the 12th fret, we're going to go. All right. So it's the 12th fret, 10th, 9th, 7th. And all I'm doing is I'm walking to a D chord. Walking back to a G. So I get to the D. So that's all I'm doing is I'm going to a D chord and then I'm walking back to a G chord. So like I said, it's hard for me to get it to click loud with the glove on, but and that little walk down there, it's not just for this lick, and it's not just on the 4th string. What he's doing is he's using a D shape, a C, and then usually I'm using a B minor, A minor, G. So, and Don actually uses that a lot, especially in his backup. If he's playing behind, he does that little clicking. Those are the same positions he's using for. So I just wanted to show you that because there's a lot of things you can do with that chord shape. But that's the basic thing he's doing here with the walk down. He's just. Alright. So after we do that walk down, he just ends up with this typical roll or lick there at the end. So the whole thing would sound like this. Alright. So there you have the kickoff. Alright, let's get into this break here. I'm going to slide into your 8th fret on the 2nd string and roll forward on your 2nd, 1st, and 5th string. So, alright. And what he's doing here is he's basically just walking from a G to a C. So, alright. So I'm rolling forward, backing up to the 6th fret. Again, the 1st string's open. To the 5th fret. And then we're going to hammer on pull off here. We're going to hammer on the 5th fret. I'm holding down the 3rd fret. So I'm hammering on to the 5th and then pulling off. Alright, so I'm actually kind of pausing on that 5th fret. It's hard to play this slow without rhythm and stuff, but I think you'll be able to figure it out. Alright. And then we're going to go into a C chord. So that's what we're doing. We're basically just walking into a C chord. Then we're going to go into a little lick here that Don does in a bunch of tunes that he's actually pulling off. All right. And Don does this in a bunch of songs. Basically what I'm doing is I'm hitting your first string out of your C chord. So, and then I'm pulling off. Then I'm hitting the second fret on the third string and pulling off. Alright, like I said, he does that in a ton of things. Backup work and breaks. I think he does it eating out of your hand. And it's almost kind of like a little claw hammer lick or something. It's not really a roll. I'm coming up and hitting the fifth string. I've never slowed this down, so it's kind of hard to do. So take a look at my right hand and get the pattern that I'm doing there. So I'm hitting the fifth string in between the notes there. So I'm actually hitting the first string too with the index. It's all 2 fingers. It's not 3 fingers there. All right. I think let me play it real slow. It's really hard to play slow, but I think you can get it from that. So after this, I'm pulling off the third, or actually I'm pulling off from the second to the first string, first fret, sorry, second to the first fret on the fourth string, right after that little lick. All right, so now we're in D chord. All right, I'm gonna slide into this partial D that Don does a lot. At the 7th fret, the 3rd string and the 2nd string at the 7th fret are fretted there. First string's open. He's using the first string as a drum. Alright, then I'm going to drop back here to the 5th fret, hold down the 3rd fret, but on the 5th fret, I'm going to pull off. Alright, so. Tricky little maneuver there. So when I'm doing that pull off, I'm coming back and rolling on the 5th, 2nd, and 1st. Then hammering on from the 3rd to the 4th fret on the 3rd string. And then back to the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. So you want to hear this melody line. Alright. Right back into that partial D chord that we did on the kickoff. So let me play it all the way from that point. Let's try that again. All right. Like I said, it's hard to play without rhythm and everything, so it's probably a little out of time and stuff, but you'll get the gist of it there. So after we come out of that D, we're going to slide back up to, and Don uses this lick in several tunes as well. Trail of Sorrow is one of them. It's a good one to put this in, but you can add it to any bluegrass tune that's going from a G to a C, and it goes like this. So we're using the brush technique here. We're going to brush the 2nd and 1st strings. We're using this partial G chord. All right. So we're going to come in this and we're going to back it up to back up 1 fret into your G. So, and then we'll just do it back and forth to your F, back to your G. 'G. All right. So it sounds like this. All right, now, and I'm also adding a little upstroke here with this finger, my first finger, when I'm doing these brush licks. So watch my right hand. So I'm hitting the first string with the first finger and then brushing back down. It adds just a little extra note in there. So all right, so we're going to back up to the 4th fret on the 1st and 2nd strings in this barred shape into your C. So now we're in C. So we're in C chord now. So we're holding this down with these 2 fingers here, and it's important to hold it down like that, because what we're going to do is we're going to pull off the 4th fret. Keep your pinky on the 5th fret on the 1st string, but we're going to pull off the 4th fret to the 3rd. So like that. So all right, see what I mean? So then we're going to grab the 5th fret on the 3rd and 2nd strings, lay your finger flat. Walk down to an A minor. All right, and that's just a double stop there. All right. So at that point, we're going to go into another brush lick that I've done a bunch of times. We're just laying our fingers flat across the 1st and 2nd strings. And we're going to do that on the 3rd and 2nd strings as well. So the 2nd and 1st strings, lay your fingers flat, brush those licks. Come up to the 3rd and 2nd strings to the 5th fret. So it's 1, 2, 3. All right, I think that's how I recorded it. I can't remember. So I've taught this in a bunch of videos, but there's a bunch of different variations of this too. There's that tumble lick. Do that there, but in this case, so I'm hitting it faster on the 1st and 2nd strings, then doing a pause, all right. So when I walk that down, I'm brushing it open, the 3rd and 2nd strings, and then doing those double stops again on the 3rd and 2nd strings. So all right, I hope that makes sense. Like I said, I never lock myself into doing it a certain way every time, and Don didn't either. It's whatever comes to our minds at the time. Let me see if I can play that whole break. Let me see if I can play the whole 2nd break there. I wanted to go. Something like that. Like I said, it's hard to play it the same way every time, but a lot of little things you can change up in there and mix up. You could do Just do that classic lick that Don does. But that should get you in the right direction. And if you have any questions, just holler at me.